Let's welcome the mortgage specialist from RBC, Kylie, to answer some mortgage questions on behalf of the mortgage specialist team. RBC is our mortgage partner on the Village of Oak Park, and we also have got 90% of the whole site blanket appraisal down, which means the home values are guaranteed by RBC. So, Kylie, RBC has a very good builder offer for their customers. Can you briefly talk about what voluntary purchasers can expect by choosing RBC?
Absolutely. First of all, hi everyone. Thank you for joining the call. Yes, for Ballantry purchasers, one of the biggest things that differentiates us from our competitors is that we do firm approvals at purchase time. So as opposed to our competitors that typically will do pre-approvals, we collect everything up front. So we collect your employment history, your credit bureau, all the information we need, and then we give you a firm approval, which means that at the time of funding, so in 2027, when this project closes, we don't come back to you and say, we need pay stubs or we need to pull your credit again or we need to check anything. At that time, all we have to do is finalize, okay, what rate do you guys want to go with? What term are we going with? And then you're good to go. This is really huge for a lot of clients. I know during COVID, I had a lot of builder clients that were closing properties and they were temporarily laid off. They were terrified that, I had bought this house 3 years ago. Now it's closing. I've been temporarily laid off. How am I going to close on this property? Which worked out well for them because we did get them a firm approval before COVID hit. So when it came time to actually closing that unit, they didn't have to worry about it. They got their jobs back and everything was fine. So that's one of our biggest competitive, against our competitors that we do have that we can offer to clients. We also do waive the processing and appraisal fees when doing applications. And like Annabelle said, we do have a blanket appraisal for most of the units now with Ballantry, which is phenomenal because that also prevents you from ever having any issues with the appraisal of the property. I forget if it was Robert or Warren that was saying, the housing costs or the price of housing do kind of fluctuate as time goes on. If, there's ever a time where you purchased at one point and then we're kind of hitting a recession where now the housing costs have gone down, you don't have to worry about at the time of closing if, your property that you've purchased is going to be appraised at much lower. Because like I said, we've got a blanket appraisal for this property. And we're good to go on that. And we also have a cash offer that I know will be sent out after this call with other materials. So there is some cashback incentives that we do offer.
Oh, really? Yeah, we'd like to know that for sure. I'm pretty sure our customers would love to see that. So as a mortgage professionals, do you recommend fixed rate or variable rate during a high interest rate environment?
So this one, with every client that I have, and I get asked this question, it really is a personal choice for each client. There are benefits to both. But like I said, I go back down to each individual client and what they need from their mortgage, what they need overall, and what makes them feel the most comfortable. I know you can go back in the last 30 years, excluding this last probably year and a half. And most of the time, if you went variable, you did better off overall. There's the benefits of that. So if the market, if the interest rates do come down, you are benefiting from that interest rate coming down for you during your time. And where your payment would most likely stay the same, your amortization overall is going to come down. However, the flip side, obviously, with that is if it goes up, so will your amortization. The benefit of going with fixed is, of course, that you have that security. You know that if you sign up for a 5-year fix, this is what my rate's going to be the entire time, and my payment's going to stay the same. When I'm done that, if I'm in a 30-year amortization in 5 years when this comes up for renewal, I have 25 years left, and there's no questions with that. So there are benefits to doing both, and like I said, it's pretty much just each individual person, what works best for them. I like to take an overall look at the client's overall financial, just like Robert was saying, you know, we got to diversify. We've got to look at everything you have, because making a decision saying to all of you, hey, this is the best thing to do, may not be the best thing for each one of you.
Right. So everybody got their customized service and based on what their financial status is and what they need. So can you explain a little bit on how your rate commitment works during construction and what happens at the final closing? Because for Oak Park, the closing is expected to be in 2027 when purchasers will require mortgage. Because sales is now, so we'd like to know that.
Absolutely. So one of the great things that we have, because we've partnered with Ballantry, I think we've kind of had a good long relationship with Ballantry, that we do have a rate cap for 48 months. So basically what that means is when we do your firm approval today, when you purchase, we can guarantee a rate for you for 48 months. That is the absolute max that your rate will be when you close in 2027. With that, what we usually do is we will hold that for you. Within 120 days of the actual closing, we reach out to all of our clients, all of our firm approved clients, and we look at what the rates are at that time. If the rates have come down, which based on the two gentlemen that spoke before me, it looks like it's going to come down by that point, fingers crossed, then we'll say to our clients, okay, just like I said before, we're going to go customize and say what's better for you, fixed or variable, and where do we want to go from here? We pick one of the rates at that time. If the rates go up by that time, then we can at least say, you know what, we've got this rate capped for you, so we're going to continue to go with the rate that we've saved. So at the end of the day, no matter what, we're going to try to get you the best rate we possibly can. But at least you know from now until 2027, at least you've got your max, and the clients can kind of figure out, okay, what's going to be my max mortgage payment that I'm going to have to be dealing with, and kind of work with that for budgeting purposes.
That's great. Now, what's the approval process at RBC? Are there any differences between financing a primary residence versus investment property?
Okay, so for the first part, the approval process, like I said, we do everything up front. It does work a lot better for clients. Today, you're purchasing this. We know that we can make it happen for you. You can go back to Ballantry and say, yes, I've got this. I've got my firm approval. I know I can make this happen. It's going to be done. You can also figure out your budgeting up front. And you know that if, from now until the time of closing, something comes up or you have to purchase a new car, now you've got a new loan on your credit bureau, or you want to purchase another investment property in the meantime, that's not going to affect your ability to close this particular home. So that's kind of with our approval process. We go through everything right now, get that done and out of the way. So then when it does come time for closing, you have no worries about anything. The difference between primary residence and investment property, obviously with investment properties, we are going to be able to use some rental income. The way we go about this is if clients come to us and they say, hey, I'm going to purchase this condo at Oak Villages, then, I want to rent it out because all these immigrants are coming in, they're going to be renting. I want to have a rental property. I want to be a part of this market. What we do is we do the same process as everybody else, but then we also use a third-party appraisal company where we order a market rent, and that market rent will come back based on, obviously, the location of the building, the square footage that you have, the bedrooms and bathrooms, and all that, and it will give us a number, rough rental number that you can kind of assume that you might be receiving, and then we can actually use 80% of that number towards a rental cost. So that kind of offsets some of your costs to help you qualify to get this investment property.
Great. Do you have any other suggestions or comments for the mortgage end?
Really, I would say I kind of did notice as people were signing in, I do see some clients that I've spoken to already at the Ballantry office, which is great. I personally, every time I get a chance to hear Robert talk, I sign up for every kind of thing he's got going on because he's so smart. One thing I would say is, and a lot of the clients have done this, is when you guys are thinking about purchasing, don't hesitate to call us, either myself or my colleague, Kristen. We can help you figure it all out. I know a lot of people have met with the great people at Ballantry. They come back and they're like, well, I have 2 units that I'm kind of thinking about. I can't figure out which one to do. And the most important thing to figure out is what's your budget looking like? How are you going to be comfortable? So we can help you with that ahead of time and get everything started and just kind of help clients just figure out, like I said, like what's your budget? How are we going to make this work for you and make sure that it works? And we work very closely with Ballantry to make sure that, you know, what this huge purchase that you're doing in your life, that it's all going to be seamless for you.